LOL Podcast Season 3, Episode 13. Sorry about last week, guys. Computer was kind of messing up, had to pretty much fix it myself, but all the audio issues are cleared up, and we are back this week. And we have someone new here, who probably will be appearing on every now and again. Don't know how it's really gonna pan out with, how all these things in life are going, but what's up, my man, Jared?
Gerard, yes.
Gerard.
Hi.
Gerard. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing okay, all things considered.
So, how long have you been playing League for, actually?
So, I've been playing casually since 2013. I played for Mississippi State from about 2015 to 2017. And I coached their League of Legends team from about that time till 2019.
Damn.
Oh, this is nice. This is the first time I think we talked to somebody who was actually in like the collegiate League of Legends circuit. So, can I ask you a question? How dedicated were the people like who were on the college team? Did all of them like have pro aspirations, or were some people just there like for fun for the scholarship? What was basically like the atmosphere there?
Yeah, so great question, and it varied a lot over time. So when I first got there, it was a very laid-back atmosphere. So most of the people on the team were like plat or low diamond, and it was just mostly for fun. And it kind of got a little bit more serious over time, to the extent that this past year everybody was at least, I think, Diamond 2. We had one guy that was like Grandmaster. Something like that. I don't think any of them had pro aspirations, but they all definitely like wanted to win, and we're doing at least 2 scrim blocks a week, something like that. So,
all right, not even the Grandmaster guy. If you're Grandmaster, at that point, I feel like you can become Challenger. If you already get that high, obviously you should have the potential, right?
I think he just had other priorities. I think he's a good player. His champion pool was also a little bit wonky as well, so I think that probably would hold him back a bit as well.
Oh, so what's your role? Like, what positions do you play?
So right now, to the detriment of my solo queue rank, I've basically been playing Phil. But I consider myself spiritually a jungle man, I would say.
Okay.
Nice, dude.
Wow.
Obviously, I'm only a gold jungler, so you're obviously way better at the game than me.
I wouldn't say that. I'm only plat 3 right now. I was diamond last season, but I'm only plat 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is your
spiritual brothers in the jungle, though?
What is your team? Who do you support?
In the LCS?
Yes, in the LCS.
Cloud9, generally speaking, but also Golden Guardians, I think.
Okay.
Those are the 2 teams I've mostly been rooting for.
Nice.
So, is there a reason why you support C9 and GG?
So Cloud9, I think it's a pretty similar story for a lot of Cloud9 fans. Like when I first started playing League, I got pretty familiar with like the original Cloud9, like Balls, Meteos, High, Sneaky, Elimination, of course. And I just like they pull out new champions, and it was fun, and they were the meme team, and I've stuck with them over time.
It helped that they were supremely dominant.
Of course,
the first year they were there.
Yeah, Meteos Superstar Jungler 24 KDA or whatever the meme is, like, of course.
Right.
As for Golden Guardians, I would say that it's mostly came with their acquisition of Damonte. I was a Clutch Gaming fan last year, and when they made their run in summer into Worlds, I was really pumped on that. So I've also been a fan of Vulcan before he was on Cloud9.
Right.
Cool.
Well, people should have saw him coming, honestly. Like how good he was going to be.
Sure. I mean, people could have said, "Oh well, Cody's son is carrying him" or something like that, and I think he's a decent AD carry as well. So.
Ooh.
Right.
And
Jack certainly saw it.
And that's going to be our first topic, is 100 Thieves. So 100 Thieves obviously came into this year. They wanted a big shakeup. Obviously in Spring Split, they had a really, really close series against TSM. Game 5, they almost won, but they ended up losing that game. Coming into this split, they're like, okay, we got, 5th, 6th place. We can obviously do much better. No, it didn't happen because Stunt ran it down every single game. He went 0-8 in I think almost all of his games. It was atrocious. And then Meteos ran it down also. Someday, this, you know how they had that one style of just playing through Someday and winning? Even that was just not working out. Everything was just not working. They have another close game against TSM where both teams were like, we don't even want to win. Bjergsen does his ex-Pekka impression. He wins the game for TSM, and then 100 Thieves announces that Meteos is obviously off in Academy. They just kick Stunt. He's just kicked. He's just not with the organization anymore. So, obviously they play this week. Golden Guardians beat them pretty convincingly. And then the 100 Thieves finally get another win. They beat Dig, but beating Dig is pretty expected.
So, absolutely.
So, what I would ask you guys is, what happened? They went from a pretty solid, okay, let me choose my words here, pretty okay team, air quotes, to basically their support ran it down for four weeks straight. Meteos is looking pretty bad all year. This is his worst year, I would say. If you've been watching Meteos, pretty bad year for Meteos. And then you have Ryoma.
You're right.
And just
Ryoma, alright, so first, I will say Ryoma has been looking, despite their losses, Ryoma has been playing better this split.
You're right about Ryoma. He's getting a little bit better. He's getting a little bit better each
He
game.
is. Although, in the end, I don't think he's planned to be there later in the future. Like I said, they're not doing well. I think the rest of the league got better around them, and most of their wins were really close last year. And I think just the rest of the league got better, and they really don't have the team that they want right now. I will say, though, we always talk about how C9 is the developmental team, right? Like they raise their talent and then plug and play, and then they get they get for free agency the other players to fill in the gaps. 100 Thieves, I just looked into it because, full disclosure, I listened to GBay99's video because that dude does a lot of work as far as looking at potential talent coming in. And he talked about 100 Thieves Next, the amateur team they started this year. And oh my god, these guys on this team are incredible. I think what they're doing is just, honestly, just kind of to bide their time, bring guys up, give them experience, and I think their season, they're going to arrive in a year, maybe 2, because a lot of these guys who look incredible, like Poom. Well, Poom just got on the roster. He's an incredibly promising support. He didn't play super well the first game last week, but he's a rookie. I'm not willing to dismiss him. But they got Tenacity, Kenvi, Copy, Eon, and Otto. Obviously, Copy, Eon, and Otto are promising prospects as well, but Kenvi and Tenacity in particular look like they're going to be stars in this league in a couple of years. And they're not even 18 yet. They're 17, I think. They're both 17? Yeah, the only reason they're not in academy is because they're too young. Yeah.
I think these guys look really good. But I do think it's important to temper our expectations a little bit, because they are playing in these amateur leagues, right? They're playing.
Yeah.
Some of the teams in these leagues are some collegiate teams and some other, pretty low quality amateur teams. And there's something to be said for the argument about you can only beat what's in front of you, right? But I don't think you can really say these guys are going to kill LCS in a year or two just based on amateur performance.
Right. I'm not saying they're going to come out of the gate, but they are developing these players, and they look very promising. They're one of the only teams besides Cloud9 who's really dedicated to this. So just them being invested in developing young North American talent, I think is going to bear fruit. Whether it's all of these guys, or none of these guys, or some of these guys, they are built for the future, and their organization is built to be a perennial winning team because they're actually working on home growing players. Like TL, look at TL. yeah, they signed a really good roster, right? What happens when those guys start declining even? Do they really have anybody waiting in the wings?
Bro, they got Greg in their academy
TL
team.
has the Disney money to buy up all Cloud9's players in a couple years when they need them.
Or when Cloud9's ready to move on to a better player?
Right when Cloud9 buys Faker is when they'll make headlines. C9 buys League's best player ever, Faker.
Here's the thing, if Faker ever gets to the point of his career where he's willing to come in NA, I don't think he'll be worth signing as an organization that's looking for success at Worlds. Like, a declining Faker is probably just something you don't want to do, simply for the language barrier and the probably the motivation. Because
Faker will never leave T1. He's got a job with the organization after he retires from playing.
Yeah, he also has a part.
It's like a Bjergsen situation,
and he has ice cream too. I would love to try some Faker ice cream, but I think that most of 100 Thieves' roster has just not been playing that good. Meteos is usually pretty good, but this is his worst year I've seen from him in a very long time.
I actually want to get in on this. I think Meteos gets a little unfairly dumped on. I think that he's better than he looks from these games, simply because he said this himself, he plays a style more oriented around helping his team. So when his team is failing him with the likes of, say, Stunt, he individually looks worse compared to somebody like Blabber, who has his entire team dumping resources into him and enabling him to do what he wants. So,
right. And also, let's be fair, I agree with everything you said, though Blabber individually is just far mechanically superior.
Of course,
to
maybe Closer would be a better or Spica, maybe.
So what about Someday?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Someday is always been their best player. He's not really had that many good weeks either.
I
mean, in the beginning, they weren't really actually giving him carry roles. Like, remember, he was on Orin duty.
I mean, Orin, does that count as a tank, though? Orin be one-shotting ADCs by himself.
I mean, Orin he has damage, but his entire damage is centered around an entire combo, and then after that, he has to sort of waddle around. But I think Someday, like I said, he wasn't being funneled, or he wasn't being played through, really. He was given tanks to play early on. And, recently they've been giving him tanks, or giving him carries, but here's the thing. When your entire plan... When the only really, really good player on your team is in the top lane, it's incredibly obvious that is your best player and who you're going to play through. It's really easy for teams to zero in on that because they don't really have to worry about Ryoma or the bot lane for this week.
Yeah,
they don't have to worry about them popping off and carry.
Yeah, I was going to pick that up. I think Cody Sun in the bot lane has really underperformed. I think this split has been one of his weaker splits. Obviously, he did play with Stunt, so early on this split, you can't really fault him. And so now he's playing with Poom, and he has played slightly better. But personally, I don't think Cody Sun has been much of a carry threat on 100 Thieves recently.
No.
I think it's their draft and their playstyle. They've always played the same way. It's kind of like going to the fast food place and getting the same thing, yet it's polished differently. When you know how they usually have like new things and shit. That's kind of what 100 Thieves is. They're like polished new fast food that's not really new. You kind of know what you're getting because all their comps are usually the same. Someday carries. They like to play 1-4. They like to play 1-4. Cody Sun is on usually a scaling pick. Meteos is usually on a decently early game impactful jungler. Their mid laners are always on scaling picks. I think people have just figured them out though. They're kind of just figured out to me.
It's even more fun to. I just want to make one point real fast.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah,
it's even a more fundamental drafting problems than that. Like against Golden Guardians, right? They picked Someday the Renekton, right?
Yeah,
but they picked it before the opposing top lane. They picked it before the opposing top laner picks, so they had a really obvious counter pick in the Kennen to just shut down the Renekton, who's supposed to get ahead early.
Sorry, were they on blue side that game?
They were on red side.
Really?
Yeah, they're on red side. Yeah, they could have last picked for Someday. Like when you're putting all your eggs in the one basket for a lane. Obviously, they also picked Cassiopeia, but that was sort of in itself a counterpick against the Stone Bird man. God damn it,
Galio.
Galio against Galio. Right. So you're putting all your eggs essentially and all your team resources into top lane, but you allow it to get counterpicked. That's just a fundamental drafting mistake,
you're right.
And it costs them the game.
Someday should always get the counter pick. Last picks always should be Somedays. There's no way you should be picking Renekton and going even in 15 minutes. That's just that's a massive fat L. Oh my god.
Right.
I think there's actually kind of a deeper problem with the way that they have set their team up. So when your only real option is to play through top lane, in past years that's been okay when you have a super strong player playing like something, I don't know, wild, like Camille, say. And that person can carry. And, Someday could still do something like that, potentially. But the fact of the matter is, bot lane is just so important, and so many resources have to be directed towards the bottom side of the map to get the Dragon Souls, is what it comes down to. And when you're shoving everything at top lane, you're basically giving up soul for free.
Right, because as we've seen these past two splits, Dragon Soul is the most important objective besides the Nexus. The Nexus to get in the game right. It is.
I agree.
If you get Dragon Soul, you are almost guaranteed to win that. Just because of the amount of gold those soul buffs are worth is insane. It's actually insane.
Like, even some of their players are mechanically misplaying. Like, I saw Ryoma not flash up Blitz Hook when he had flash up. I saw Someday using an Orin ult on a freaking Olaf that just pressed ultimate. Like, I was like, what am I watching? Like, it's very clear their synergy is kind of dead and not going to really come back. I think that next year they're going to be changing up the roster again, because I don't really like the idea of the whole band coming back together type thing, which a lot of teams were doing. I was like, that is not going to work, because the reason why I don't like that is because when people, okay, let me try and break this down as easy as I can. So for people who have been in relationships, the reason why you don't get back with your ex-girlfriend is because all those problems that you never resolved are going to come up if you ever get back together. So these teams are coming back together to back to their ex-girlfriends, and their issues haven't really been resolved yet. Meteos' issues have never been resolved with the 100 Thieves and other teams that have gone through the same process as well. Kind of like how, TSM had that same issue with, well, now I guess you could kind of say that with Bifrost, but it's not really there yet. But I think that will get exposed when they start losing, and it's a more big of a problem when you start losing though. And they were losing so much. They're like, man, Meteos, we were losing with him summer 2018. We're losing with him now in summer 2020. Well, God, it's a matching ideology. Let's kick him. And it's like,
right.
I mean, that's the culture you invited into. When you bring back players that you've already kicked before, the issues never get resolved, though. I mean, well, it was probably their move, but that is just one person, though. I'm talking about how they play the game. Even that goes into it as well. But yeah, Gerard, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it is important. Like, it wasn't just Prolly that the community had perceptions of Meteos having friction with. There was also, like, Afromu is no longer on the team, right? Like the whole behind the scenes staff is different. You got Papa Smithy in the GM position, ostensibly. I mean, he said it himself. He is in charge of everything directly. So it's basically an entirely different organization than it was in 2018. So I think that tells us that this might be on the end of Meteos just having a personality clash in general with people. And it seems to me that he just doesn't like being coached.
Or told what to do. Right,
because he's from an era before coaches. In Season 3, when he debuted and was a killer, there were no coaches.
Yeah,
I remember him coming back to Cloud9 in 2016 summer. You could tell he did not like the way Reaper. Good God. I was like, because that's where I got that band back together mentality, was that, wait, C9 brought Meteos, so you think like, oh yeah, they had success with Meteos, the 1-2 splits them. They're like, oh my God, like it was Meteos played insane that split, but it was like, God, this is not the same Meteos. It was like, what's going on? What's going on here? And I think that any team picking him up is always going to have this issue, though. He's just not a player you can coach. But is that a bad thing, though? Is that a bad thing, really, though? I mean, it's not a bad thing to me personally, but it does cause problems.
It does, and I think it's not necessarily Meteos being worse than he used to be. I actually genuinely believe that the league's players have been getting better steadily over all of these years. It just so happens that the other leagues have gotten better at a faster rate. But I think Meteos is pretty close to how good he was back in 2013, 2014 to 2016. But I just think you see people like Blabber coming up, and you realize that, wow, this younger generation of league players are miles better than the players that were debuting in the league back in its early days. It's just the game is so much more developed now. And those players, because they're younger and they've been going through that coaching through their career, are more receptive to being coached, so they can gel with the team more. Because when you have a single leader like a coach behind the scenes, it enables your team to be more united. And I think that's really the issue with these older players. I think we need to start cycling out these older players.
Oh yeah,
not even
hard on that last day. You're not having that.
Yeah, not even in. I don't think it's even worth for an academy, because in an ideal world, your academy team should be 4 people. Like I said, the 100 Thieves next team. That entire team should be brought up to academy next year, because they're all 17. They're just waiting to be 18.
Oh.
So you bring them up, you develop them, and then you start plugging them into your roster, and maybe they work out and maybe you don't. But the idea is that when they go in and they get their chance for a split to be professional players, they don't work out. All right, your scouting department in your amateur team has still been getting more and more young players. You're like, all right, they didn't work. All right, bring up the next young guy. And eventually you find the players. This is how baseball works. This is how NFL works. This is how the NHL works. This is how...
It's also how the LPL works.
True. I agree with that. The best region in the world does this.
I think fundamentally for Meteos, like his type, what he expects from the coach is more like what G2 provides. So more like a facilitator rather than someone who teaches him the game. And I think right now that how LCS is going and how League is going, the amount of coaches that are like that is less and less, Like besides G2,
Zeeks is definitely noted to be like teaching coach. I think.
Like besides G2, like what other coach actually provides a facility to facilitate discussions between their top players? Like I don't think there is many top teams with that kind of coaching style. And I think if Meteos, Parth, maybe, but I just think that if Meteos doesn't adapt to this new style, he has to phase out. And I think, like you said, we can't recycle these old talents, and it's time for the new ones to come in.
Recycling these old men.
Who are you? What player not currently in the LCS? You could say Poom, I guess, and still count it because he just came up. But what player do you guys think in either academy or in the team's amateur team are you most excited to see get a shot?
I think about that for a second.
I want to see someone on C9 Academy to play.
I was thinking about C9 Diamond, their support. He's been there for a long time.
I think he's actually pretty good.
He hasn't gotten a shot. I mean, I don't know how well he's going to translate on the LCS, but I really hope a team picks him up. Like, someone on the bottom team, they need a good support, So,
I would say Treats as well is like
Treats,
Oh yeah, Treats. I like Treats is good, man. People are sleeping on that dude. Oh right.
Like I said, I've been super, super high on Kenvi. Like, just watching him play, it's not even just the fact that he's turning shit up. The fact that he has an incredibly high, KDA, jungle proximity to his lanes, a clear speed level 6 timer, all that. But he's also playing the game correctly, at least the VODs I'm watching. He has a very good understanding of the game. And here's the thing: when teams start bringing up and having 3 to 4 already star players on their roster, that helps a lot when you're trying to actually import non-washed players from like the LCK or the LPL or EU. Because if they're like, instead of going and getting signed to this retirement home team that has a bunch of has-beens on it.
Oh my God.
I'm going to this team with a bunch of young, promising players, and I'm going in as the star veteran of the team that can grow around me, a lot of players are going to be really, really receptive to that. And I think we can actually get a lot of better imports in the region if more teams adopt the C9 and 100 Thieves style of development. Obviously, I'm sort of jerking off 100 Thieves, but they're doing exactly what every single team in the league needs to do with having an amateur team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we finished 100 Thieves. So, Gerard, is there anything you want to bring up before we move on? Because you said you had a few things you wanted to discuss.
I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but I would say that other players to look out for coming out of amateur, Evolve, I think is probably going to be a solid player in LCS, hopefully soon. And then I think the two Australians on C9 Academy, Fudge and King, are also good prospects to look out for.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit about them. They look promising.
Did you guys hear that thing about the one C9 staff employee tweeting about the volleyball police skin?
There was actually more.
Oh my god!
Or at least
oh
two.
My lord, man!
Wait! Are people saying they should remove the skin?
I believe the argument was mostly that the players should not be using it.
But it's not going to be. It's not harmful though.
Because of the current
it's just a police.
Think about it.
Oh, okay.
Well, hold on. Here's the thing. It's just a police officer. There are police officers in every country on the planet, and there are tons of them that don't have the issues that we currently have in North America. Like, are we gonna say, oh, we can't have Officer Caitlin or Officer Vi? Is that where we're going?
Like, dude, that argument triggered me so much. I was like, it's a skin in a virtual video game. What harm is this causing, though? It's literally causing no harm. And then she was like, well, the org should be accountable. It's like, you're going out whole left field. You're taking this all the wrong way. You are literally in Antarctica. We're all over here in Australia. You're basically frozen. We're like living the good life. Come on. Like, it's not that.
Right.
I think people are like, when did the world get so sensitive, man? I try to
It's a skin.
It's not hurting anybody.
I feel like this is much ado about nothing. I don't think this is really a story.
No.
Yeah, Jack put out a TLDR. He said he apologized to Santorin, and she said, well, the only thing I had a problem with Santorin was like, oh yeah, people should get second chances. You know, since it was a lady that tweeted it, we give her a second chance. But if it was a guy, I'm hard to believe that he'd be in trouble. But that's just me personally.
No comment.
Let's go. Which team in the LCS is number 2? So there's always this discussion, well, even last split, about which team is our second best team. Now, last split, I guess you could say it was FlyQuest or EG toward the tail end of it. I mean, you could maybe throw TSM in the discussion, but this split, you have TL, EG. I think TSM will eventually be the second best team, and then you have FlyQuest, or do you have anybody else?
FlyQuest.
You think FlyQuest?
I think honestly it's TL. To be honest, they have the strongest roster aside from C9. They have the most. They have the most synergy at this point. They have the most recent, success. Obviously, they don't have Doublelift anymore, but Tactical looks pretty good. Also, I really like it. Tactical's a young player getting a shot. I really like that. He's going to grow into his role.
Good.
I don't know if he's going to.
I like what he's offering.
I don't know if he's going to be like Doublelift tier talent, but
I think he's going to be.
No, they don't. They have Jensen, and they have Broxa. They have Core JJ in the bot lane who can carry a lane on his own. And then, you got Impact in the top lane, though. If you had to ask me who on TL is the next person on the chopping block to get replaced, I think it's definitely going to be Impact.
Yeah.
Because, he's still pretty good, but when you look at Impact, don't think carry top laner, right? You think he's the Rock.
I actually think that there's a better chance he stays on the roster because he's a relatively good import who doesn't take an import slot.
Right.
So that might be his saving grace, I think, for the next year or two, even.
Right. Right, but it seems like TL really doesn't give a shit about. Well, here's the thing: they can't import anybody. They'd have to sign somebody. So unless they sign, like they go under 100 Thieves and take like Tenacity or something, and try to go that route. Yeah, it's just I don't think it's gonna happen immediately, but Impact is probably gonna start declining because he's old for a League of Legends.
And his hands will fall off.
I don't necessarily think. Yeah. Like I don't think that age correlates too bad with like declining player ability.
Really? That's a different take than what we usually get here. Why do you think that, actually?
Yeah. So I think the reason we think we see that right now is mostly because kind of like what we talked with Meteos, like the scene was so different. Like even let's say 5 years ago, when some of these guys were coming up, that they may not be able to quite function in the way things are now, but that isn't because they're old, it's because they were brought up in a fundamentally different system.
I mean, I agree, but like I said, players in any sport, as time goes on, the younger players generally are a little bit better as a whole as the previous generation of players. I just feel like as younger players come up, it's not that necessarily that Impact is going to be bad or significantly worse than he was like when he was on SKT, but I do think that you're starting to start seeing younger players coming into the league around him, and they're going to start beating him more often than he has those, incredible, solid, unmovable, unshakable performances that he has as the rock in the top lane. That's going to happen less and less.
But like, if you look like a guy like Xmithy, like he's almost 30, right? I think he's almost 30.
Wow.
And like he was winning splits last year, and like he looked good.
Oh yeah.
And he was a core part of that Team Liquid roster. So
right.
And I don't disagree that younger players like over time will replace and cycle in and be better, but I don't think that should be the basis of an argument.
Well, here's the other thing. I don't have the study on me, but there is a study that was done basically just on cognitive brain functions and reaction times as you get older, and it is around like the 29 to 32 range that you start to see declining in just reaction time and cognitive brain functions.
Also,
obviously, it's not extreme.
That's the reason
but when you're
why
looking at the
sucking in League, that's the reason why. Okay, so when people say that's why I suck at League, I can use that. Okay, good. Thank you, dude.
Well, for the general populace, it doesn't matter that much. Like for us, like gold to plat to diamond, it's really not that noticeable because the players simply are good. But when you look at the top pool of players, when you look at the cream of the crop, even just a marginal decrease in reaction time is going to be extremely noticeable. And I think
disagree.
There is you disagree? All right, go ahead.
So I think League of Legends is not a game about reaction time, and even if it was, say, like CS:GO, there's players in CS:GO who are still good who are like in their 30s. No.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I would like to just put a little addendum. Aging, because these are general. The study was very general for an entire populace. General trends for a populace does not necessitate anything for an individual. So I will say that it affects everyone differently, and obviously there are players who won't necessarily decline like that at that age group. But it does happen on a whole. All right, that's all I want to say.
Let me just quickly jump in. I think we can talk about reaction time and that kind of stuff. Kind of hard to tell exactly, but I do agree that young players coming in are more knowledgeable at the game. They're more developed in terms of like wave management, side lane, macro and micro, and that kind of stuff. And I think it really does speak to how Faker is the oldest player to win the LCK. LCK is, famous for having a lot of young talents, and I think it really does show that a lot of the young talents coming in are more prepared, are more polished in a way coming into playing the league. Obviously, when they play, they might have some nerves issue. So that might be another factor. But I do think in general that younger players are better, and it's not purely because reaction time or mechanic, but because they come in with so much more knowledge. When Meteos or players in S3 basically came in, they were just trolling around, So I think I do in general agree that younger players are better, but there are exceptions that some older players can still hang around.
Sorry, you said Faker was the oldest player to win LCK?
Yes.
I know at
Currently
least
playing.
one counterexample. Score?
Marin, right?
For mid lane, I think.
For mid lane, okay.
Yeah, my
okay.
bad.
Oh, but now I got the best excuse. The reason why people ask me why I'm not good at League anymore. Thank you, Ravioli. Thank you. Whew. That's the only reason why I'm stinking.
Nope. Like I said, general trends for a population group does not mean anything for a individual person. So I'm sorry. It actually doesn't.
It's probably something that's standardly distributed, so you could be at one end of the bell curve or the other.
Right.
So,
right.
Moving on to the other teams, Evil Geniuses. Jizuke has been, I don't know. What do you think about Jizuke? I think he looks kind of eh.
I think EG are posers.
Oh shit. Oh god. Kumo, he's looked better.
Yeah, Kumo's looked better.
Just as a whole, they just don't impress me.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of data to back this up, but
from the eye test, yeah.
Yeah, just get this team out of my sight, please.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I do think they're a pretty solid team. But like I said, the old guard has come back. Like TSM's looking much better. TL's looking much better. FlyQuest, that has a much stronger base with a much more consistent mid laner, is better than them. And I just think the rest of the league is better this split. So they're not looking nearly as impressive. I think that's really what it comes down to.
The fact that MASH of all AD carries is finally on a team again.
It's kind of the same thing we talked about 100 Thieves, right? Like everybody else kind of got better relative to them. So.
Yeah. But I think they're still a solid team. I'm glad that they're here rather than them not being, because like I said, this point last split, we had C9 and then a bunch of near 500 teams. This time we have 5 teams. All right, so we got C9 undefeated, and then we got TL and TSM both at 6-2. And then we got FlyQuest and EG both at 5-3, right? I'm very happy with that. We have a very established top end of the league, and it's much more entertaining watching those teams go at it. Of course, other than Cloud9, because they just sort of beat whoever they're playing with a goddamn cudgel.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Right. Although I will say I was impressed with Golden Guardians managing to make it at least interesting for 10 minutes.
Gotta commend them for that.
And that's one of the reasons I have such high hopes for that team.
For Cloud9 or
Golden Guardians? For Golden Guardians.
Okay.
One thing I wanted to ask was, this is a topic I had, I think with a friend, but Damonte, remember how last split everyone was so mad Damonte didn't have a starting spot on a team? Well, he has it now on Golden Guardians, and has he actually impressed you guys? No one's brought that up. I just thought about that to myself today. I was like, he was so, wanted by a lot of people in the community to be on a team. No, he was not on a team. He now has a starting spot on Golden Guardians, and has he actually impressed anybody? I'm just saying he looks.
I think he looks pretty solid.
Yeah, I think most of Golden Guardians' problems can be attributed to earlier in the split, just drafting Nidalee and having some pretty weird games from that, and having poke comps that are really hard to execute.
Also,
sure, go ahead.
So they also seem to have issues transitioning from early into mid game.
Yes,
and that's where they lose a lot of games. Is they have a lead and then they just fumble it because their players aren't in the right positions, or they're not rotating correctly, or they just make a couple players make fundamental errors during a really important skirmish or something.
That's true, and that's kind of also where the poke comp thing, poke comps are incredibly hard to execute, and that's mostly what they were losing the games on in week 1 and 2. Was the Jace Nidalee games, and now that they're playing like Galio and Twisted Fate and stuff like that in the mid lane, and I think it's mostly been Graves for closer. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
But I think they are looking better now.
Feel bad for closer, man. He's been playing great, dude.
Yeah. I think Golden Guardians has a solid roster. They just need to get better coaching, I think.
You need
Hui needs to go. They need a new support, but I do think that
bring back
if they
Keith.
I actually do think they shafted Keith. That
right?
was pretty gross.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, they just get some better coaching. They need to not import a player. They need to import a coach.
Do you have someone in mind in particular?
No, I don't.
Okay if you don't. I just think it's kind of weird to say that they need a better coach when we don't really have a firm idea of what coaches do, and like what most coaches do in teams.
I'll explain.
Oh, right, your fan's acting up again.
All right, here. Let me just point it away from. All right. So basically, obviously, they're having these macro issues, and what it tells me is that they're not either practicing properly or they're having issues like communicating before, like during practice or something or whatever. And I feel like their coach might be fine right now, but they should probably get somebody who can connect with all these players and get them to really, really dive in to the macro side and try to sharpen that. Like Cloud9, they necessarily didn't get a new coach, but what they did do is they got that one guy from the U.S. military. No, there's from the military.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, they got that. He wasn't a coach. Yeah. I think he was in the Rangers or the SEALs or something.
Something like that.
But what that did is he's obviously not a League of Legends coach, but what he did is he instilled a different culture of work ethic into their practice, which caused the whole team to take their practice more seriously, to just give it 110% in their study of the game, which caused them to be these massive macro monsters in at least North America that we've seen. C9 doesn't really usually get leads by going in skirmishes and getting a bunch of kills. They just outplay their opponents in a macro sense. That's how they can be, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Where they were down, 3-1 kills, but then they were up 2,000 gold by 8 minutes. That's how that happens. So I just think they need a coach who will get, in a similar way, get them to be more invested in the study of the game. That's all. That's what I bet.
I think bringing on some staff that would do that would be good for Golden Guardians, and I think it would be good for any team.
Mm-hmm. I think most teams should have that sort of approach. I think we need, and as a region, needs more of that if we want to catch up with the LPL and LCK and EU.
Oh, right. This has been great discussion tonight, guys. And let's go on to the LCS Week 5 match predictions and trying to watch the LCS revive a dead-ass rivalry called CLG versus TSM. I'm just being completely honest here, guys. C9 versus TSM, always a better rivalry, always much more competitive, and just better in every single regard. I never even liked TSM and CLG when I was watching. I thought it was always TSM was just that much better than them. But that's just me personally, that's just my opinion.
It's the pre-LCS rivalry. Let's just put it that way.
I don't know. It was never been good. Yes. I just never thought it was... TSM always just usually stopped them.
I don't know. Until they didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. C9 and TSM have always, except, other than the one game last split, the last couple splits, it's been kind of stompy for C9. But other than that, these games have always been close, and they've always been great games. I think that's where the rivalry comes from, because obviously TSM were the kings. Then C9
they were the kings.
They're kings. Then I think it was a different
broadcast here.
Yeah. But
So-
yeah, the games are always good.
Starting off Friday Night League, we have the match to end all matches. These two teams are going to be in World Finals one day. Immortals versus Dignitas. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I think Immortals easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. I mean,
I think Immortals is looking a lot better.
Yeah, since they brought back Xmithy, it's like he was the best player on their team by a wide margin. And
Alorum also just had like an awesome game, even though they lost.
Mm-hmm.
That Urgot game was very nice.
Yeah, their loss were actually pretty close, so I am pretty high on Immortals, I'd say.
Yeah, I think they can end the split like 6th or 7th place or something.
Yeah.
Hey, it's good enough for playoffs, baby.
Absolutely.
At least in NA, we take 8 teams. FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves to finish off Friday. Who you guys got?
FlyQuest.
Good enough.
I think.
Good enough for me. Evil Geniuses versus Golden Guardians to start off Saturday.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was Cloud9 versus TSM.
That's the next
They
one.
wouldn't put. Yeah, they don't put the banner matches first. Viewership goes up the later in the stream.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
All right, so the first game's what? I'm sorry.
Evil Geniuses versus Golden Guardians.
I'm looking at the schedule right now, and that's at 5, and Cloud9 versus TSM's at 4.
Oh, yeah, I'm on the official LOL Esports page. It's EG first versus Golden Guardians.
Oh, well, I was just looking at the Google. Oh,
that may have been as of week 5. They do flex scheduling, so it may get moved around based on what they think.
Right.
Okay.
Broadcast.
All right, so we'll do that first anyway. So I'm going for EG still. I do think they're a solid team, and Golden Guardians is still working things out. EG, as much as we just crapped on Jizuke and said he's not playing nearly as well this split, he is still a player that could take over a game. Like we saw it earlier when he was on like his Corki with the Yumi backpack, how he was just completely carrying games. Yeah, I got EG in that pretty easily.
You guys got EG too?
I think this is a pretty close one, but I do think EG does edge out slightly.
Okay.
I also think it's a close one. I want to say Golden Guardians. I think it depends mostly on if EG goes back to what they know is working for them and stops experimenting, like with the Kog'Maw mid or the Karma mid or things like that. So I think it's really close, kind of a toss-up. But I want to say GG, and if they win this, I think that'll like set them on the path to finish the split top 5.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Bold prediction. Can we screen cap this first?
Yeah, he had them top 3.
I think so. My original take was actually top 5, but I made it spicier to get on the show. But however, I do think like they're capable of like, you know, finishing 3rd place, going to Worlds. Like, Damonte and Closer were both at Worlds last year. So
dude, you were so much better than the one guy who came on. Mark said, yeah, then G2 won MSI. He said they won MSI, because hearing is hard for some people. They won MSI, and then that one guy said, oh yeah, but then they lost to IG. I was like, what the hang up.
Wait,
hang
what?
Up. I was like, hang up. Okay, so basically they had this big discussion,
I will say,
and it was basically Mark, there was G2, and then Mark said, well, G2 won MSI, yeah, it's so bad, and the guy was like, yeah, but then they lost to IG. I was like, what? What?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hearing is hard for some people. Holy crap!
They lost to them in groups, I guess.
Yeah, but he said they won MSI, and then
they didn't. They didn't lose them in groups because G2 was in Cloud9's groups with Griffin.
No, it's
sorry, we're talking about MSI.
MSI,
right?
yeah.
Oh, MSI, my bad.
IG went 9-1 in MSI.
Yeah, they only lost to T1 the very last day.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I will say, before we move on, because we brought up Karma, in any lane other than bot lane, I fucking hate Karma top, and I fucking hate Karma mid. I always feel the team that drafts it just ends up losing.
Yeah,
because
I thought the same thing. It's draft Karma mid, lose.
Because top lane, it can be a really oppressive tank during the laning and mid game, but as soon as late game comes around, Karma's shields just aren't fucking good enough to keep her alive, and she has basically low mobility, so she can't escape once she's engaged on.
Works a lot better in mid lane.
Well, even there, you go Karma mid, her scaling, like, her damage output is not that great. It's really not. If your mid laner, unless you have something like Gallia, you're looking for an AP carry. Mm-hmm. I would not describe Karma as a carry champion.
I agree, that's true, but not every team is playing with their mid laners on carries, so like
right.
I mean, for example, Cloud9, right? Like Nisqy doesn't always play a carry champion. I mean, he has played Karma to enable Blabber to do Blabber things, and I think that's basically what Karma is good for.
Right. I will say that's fine if you can execute. Usually, the teams that are doing it aren't executing. And thing is, everyone on Cloud9 is so good. When Nisqy goes Karma mid, you have like a gank playing to the top lane with an Aphelios in the bot lane, and then another AP jungler, or just someone who can do AP damage in the jungle, like maybe a Sejuani, just to add a little bit extra, damage diversity.
As Karma always says, never falter.
Blabber's played Sejuani all year. I could be wrong. But
Sejuani this split?
No, I don't think all year. I don't think he's played it all year, like 2020.
No. Because Blabber is sort of being unleashed this year, and he plays a lot of early game or carry junglers. I like what they're doing with Blabber, and I wouldn't change it because he is excelling a lot with the way they're playing him. So
C9's our next team. C9 versus TSM, the better rivalry, the best rivalry in the LCS. Oldest tale. Man, C9 versus TSM, freaking chapter 500 of the manga right now. They're
right.
We're on the mod.
CLG thinks they're TSM's real rival, but ask any fan, they're like,
it's always
the better rivalry. The real rivalry is C9 TSM because they're actually good on a regular basis.
Dude, I've been doing a lot of shit recently, and I've heard a lot of shit. TSM fans saying they're gonna destroy us. I'm like, if I could go meet Scarlett Johansson right now, I would do that. But I live in the real world. That's not gonna happen. So yeah, Cloud9's gonna smack around TSM. I mean.
I agree.
I don't know. I think it'd be close. I think it'd be closer. I think it's gonna be Cloud9's closest game this entire split.
Think so?
Because
Golden Guardians game
closer than the Team Liquid game.
Yeah, I think TSM is getting better every week, and I think that I don't know. TSM just has this aura where they play up to Cloud9, and they were the only team to beat them in the regular season last year with a worse roster. So
I mean, the other game we destroyed them. Like the other game before that, they just manhandled them.
I agree, but a Cloud9, like any sport team, no matter how good you are, you're bound to have a down game at some point. And I just think it's going to be this one. They have double lift, so they actually have a duo lane that is capable of going toe to toe with Sven and Volt. They actually have, and I just feel like, because they won't immediately just forfeit bot lane, that gives them a chance to be competitive.
I agree that if any team is going to contest Cloud9, it's probably going to be TSM. And I say that not because I think TSM is good, but I mean, they're good at catching throws. So, and that's all that the CLG game was.
Yeah.
Lord.
Just TSM didn't do anything. They just waited for CLG to also not do anything. And then they won by default, because their players are just better. But
yeah,
like I said, Wolf throw, TSM can catch it. So
I definitely want to add on. I think TSM this week, honestly, besides the GGS game, I think versus CLG, like honestly, CLG could have ended the game. I don't think TSM is as good as people think, but I do think that if there's a team that can match the high tempo that C9 can play, it is TSM.
Yeah, CLG lost that game. TSM didn't win it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, hard agree. But like I said, I'm not picking TSM. I think Cloud9's gonna win, and by the end of the game, they're gonna be up like 8,000-9,000 gold at the end of the game. But I do think they'll play them close for instead of 10 minutes like everyone else, they'll play them close for 20 to 22 minutes. And
there's such a big skill difference between Spica and Blabber. It's like this.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the main difference. That's going to be the main difference.
Like I never would say that for NA junglers, but I've never usually for NA junglers themselves, it's not too big of a skill difference. But when you notice Blabber to Spica, it's like, holy crap, how does Spica even win games? When you really look at how actually, dude, there was a game he ran it down on King. Pick King did nothing, farmed and ran it down. I was like, is this even acceptable?
To be fair, that was the first game of the split. And
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just fucking around with you guys.
Also, I don't think he's played Kane since, so that's probably good.
I will say though, I will say though that if Cloud9 is allowed to just have Twisted Fate, the game will be a snowball stomp. I don't know why any team is allowing Nisqy to draft Twisted Fate, because he might not be the most broken champion right now, the most powerful champion, but he is exactly the champion that Nisqy wants. It fits his playstyle to a T, and it just allows him to do whatever he wants.
I believe Cloud9 will be on blue side, so unless TSM bans it first rotation, then Cloud9 will probably first pick it.
You guys all saying Cloud9?
Yeah.
Well, Reginald's paying me to do podcasts now, so I'm gonna have to turn around my name to TSM MSK. No, I'm just kidding. C9's gonna destroy these guys. All right, next game is Team Liquid versus CLG. Yikes.
Liquid
TL.
Imagine a banger. Imagine a banger game.
Do we even need to discuss this?
I love you,
really,
Riot. I love you. You put C9 TSM, EG Golden Guardians. Pretty good opening matches. You know what's gonna finish off the day? TL versus CLG.
Yeah.
Listen, I will say,
Pro Belter and 4 corpses.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Can we at least give CLG a little bit of credit for actually not being completely embarrassing this split? They've really turned it around.
They could go 4-14. They could finish one game above last split.
They can.
Immortals being better, I wouldn't be surprised if that's if they lost every game. I'd be like, yeah, okay.
I think they're gonna end with at this point I'd probably say 7 wins. Which is
I was just about to say 6. So, yeah,
roughly about
somewhere 6 in that neighborhood. I think they beat Big.
You guys got TL?
TL.
Okay.
I will say it for CLG though. I think they're gonna beat the bottom 3 teams on the next rotation, and they'll have one upset somewhere in the top 5.
All right, Dignitas.
Exactly one.
Dignitas versus FlyQuest. FlyQuest. All right, Sunday is TSM versus Immortals. If TSM don't win that game, I'm sad. Just stop. They're gonna go 1-1 this week. I think if they lose to Cloud9, they'll go 1-1 because you have to face Immortals. I mean, what if Immortals actually upset TSM? They went 0-2. They're actually on a 4-game winning streak coming into this week, though. They've been actually winning all their games for a bit, but a lot of their wins are kind of suspect too. So it's like, Then you have.
This is a game that Immortals could actually make a statement and show that they're here to play. So my mind says TSM, my heart says Immortals.
Right. Because here's the thing: Doublelift is on that team, and if you put Doublelift up against who did they swap bottomless again? It's still Apollo down there, right?
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, Doublelift is going to do very, very illegal things to that bot lane.
Maybe.
They're gonna have Drake control, and even if the rest of the map plays well, I just believe that TSM is just gonna have Drake control the whole game, and that's gonna win them the game.
I just want to see the Malphite Orianna come through again. And,
I really do want to see how
such simple calls.
So you think Orianna's gonna dish the rock to the rock so she can rock the enemy team?
Oh my lord!
Yes, I would say that.
That sounds rock solid.
That's exactly how I would say it.
That sounds hard as hell to do. I'm just kidding.
Can we get a Dunkmaster Orianna skin? So
Immortals is going to put TSM between a rock and a hard place.
Dude, I remember Froggen. Dude, thank God Froggen's not playing this week because all he picked is Orianna. God,
Yeah.
blows my mind. All right, Cloud9.
Oh my god.
Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves. All right, Cloud9, good job. You get a free win. Team Liquid versus Golden Guardians.
So Golden Guardians should have won their last game versus TL. Actually,
They were playing pretty good.
That was a game that they were playing a poke comp that was hard to execute in the late game. So I think there's a good chance Golden Guardians actually comes out on top there.
Yeah. I will say the same thing. Yeah.
I think they have
I'm
a
marked as a
shot.
Golden Guardians fanboy now, so
Right. Well, dude, don't worry about it. I'm labeled as the sneaky simp, so like you're not as bad as me.
I just love Pokimane, but that's just me. Yeah, hey, we all simp for whoever we want to. But hey,
listen. I don't think he should be playing on Cloud9. I just think he should be playing on a roster.
We had a discussion where what if Pokimane was in the LCS? So someone commentated, he's like, "We're doomed."
I really, as an aside, I really do want to see not a Pokimane because she's obviously not good enough. I would like to see a female league player get good enough where they could,
be on a starting
get into
roster.
the league and play well. Oh, there's one in Brazil.
I believe there's a woman starting on a
think.
Brazilian team.
Yeah, INTZ
Right.
has one, right? Yeah.
I think so. I think they're. I don't even think it's their support. Funny enough.
No.
I
believe though, because it hasn't happened before, we really just need the first one to come in to actually be a very good player. Maybe not a star player, but
You guys watch OTV right on YouTube? Imagine Lily's boyfriend as a mid laner, Michael. Holy crap. That's what that'd be hilarious to me. But yeah, you guys are actually saying Golden Guardians, aren't you?
No, TL.
Okay. Just
I think
tell
it's like
me
60-40 TL. I
Okay.
would say.
I'd say about 75-25. All right. Tell me what lane Golden Guardians is supposed to win in this game.
They win all the lanes. They have the best players in the league. They're gonna be Cloud9 in the next week. What do you mean?
I don't think that. So winning lane is kind of a weird concept. I think it's more about the early game who has pushing lanes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So-
Oh yeah, of course. That's not really what I meant by winning lanes. I'm like,
No, I know it's not, but I also dispute the premise that matters.
I'm talking about which lane between the two teams is going to perform better than their opposing lane in the entirety of the game is what I meant. Jungle, better than you think closer better than Brox?
Brox has not played that good, man.
Yeah,
Brox
He definitely was last split, and I think he has been this split thus far.
He's been pretty underwhelming, man. Like a lot of people don't like to say because he's kind of a cool dude, but you gotta call the gameplay for what it is, man. He's not been playing good.
Brox is one of the coolest dudes in esports, but
yeah,
I can accept that. I can accept that call. I do think that's the one lane. I think obviously you got Core JJ and Tactical, and I think Core JJ is the key here, where he's going to be able to control the bot lane. You got Jensen, who I think is still one of the better mid laners in the league, and then you got Impact, and I don't think they're going to be able to exploit Impact. So the jungler, Closer might be able to probably outperform Broxa based on the way they've been playing recently, but I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just don't think they have enough skill and talent on the roster to TL most of the time. I think they have a shot, but I just don't think they're there.
Yeah, fair. I think your comparison with the head-to-head does, I guess, in some ways does have a logical sense, but I do want to bring to attention that TL this week has been pretty iffy. Their win against Immortals is basically down to a base race between Insanity and Tactical. And their game against FlyQuest was also a huge throw by FlyQuest. So I do think TL this week has been shaky. Do I count on them to be shaky next week? Probably not, but I do think going into this week, GGS does have a chance. And I'm not saying that it's a huge chance, like probably like 55-45, but I do think Golden Guardians do have a chance.
I mean, I'd say 55-45 is really solid.
Chance.
That's a coin flip.
Better than
I gave them a 25% or 1 out of 4 chance, because this is the thing. they only have, 3 wins?
Golden Guardians? Don't
Yes.
they have,
Yes,
Yeah.
but three of the
they're
I
3 and
think,
5.
I think 3 of those losses
could have been wins.
Yeah.
could have been wins. Like they could
Right.
be at top of the table right now.
Right.
Basically.
But here's the thing that we brought up. They have early to mid game transition problems, and
Yes.
they haven't shown me anything to this point that they have rectified that problem. So
Fair.
I'm
fair.
expecting them to have issues in the mid game, and if you're playing against TL with players like Jensen and Corsair and Tactical, they're going to absolutely exploit that, and that's
agree,
why
and I'm predicting TL as well for the record.
right.
I just
Right.
think PG has a pretty good shot at it.
Next game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I gave them 25.
CLG versus Evil Geniuses. Yikes. These games,
This-
Riot. Good job, Riot. I love you so
This
much.
is a
honestly.
pretty important game actually
Yeah.
for both teams.
Upset alert! Upset alert!
I don't think it's an
CLG is
upset
going to
either
win this
way.
game. No, I think CLG is going to take this one.
I
I think EG is. This is one of EG's butt fumble games where they just don't play the game well. I don't know. I don't have too much statistical data to back this up, but I can just feel it in my bones. I just feel it in my bones.
What are you, Dragon Ball? What are you,
EG,
Kefla?
Jizuke.
Kefla from Dragon Ball Super. I feel it in my
Yeah,
back.
I got a tingly feeling in my back, and so does CLG. They're gonna ascend and break their limits this game and beat EG, and Jizuke is gonna be the main culprit as to why. He's gonna have
I'm
a
gonna
bad
say
game.
EG with basically no justification, just
Dude,
a gut feeling.
like, man, I've seen Wiggly play Trundle and miss Trundle pillars on not moving people. That you can't fix that.
Yeah, Wiggly is
No.
bad.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
is
this-
bad.
your target is not moving, and this man can't hit a Trundle pillar. Big yikes! Holy.
Right. It's such a shame. He looked so promising in the first split.
He got carried by
It-
PoE.
The second split, because the first one
Yeah.
was kind of bad. It was the first
PO.
summer 2019, right? Yeah, summer
Yeah.
2019. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
How much is CLG kicking themselves for not holding on to PoE? How much do you think that
I
internal
don't think
office has
the Crown
nightmares?
experiment was a bad idea. It just didn't work out.
The thing is, I just don't understand why when PoE
He always leaves. He always
already
changes
a great
teams, though.
player.
He always changes teams, though. That's his thing. If he doesn't find success with one team, he just goes to the next one. And I respect that too. It like life is too short for you to be staying on some teams for 5 years and not having success. Go to somewhere else. The grass might be greener in another place. You never really know though.
Well, to his credit, every team he's been on in NA has been like
Better.
decent. At
Yeah,
least. Or,
yeah.
well,
I-
Optic wasn't very good, but after,
I think PoE is the second best mid laner in North America right now.
I think Mash is better than Sneaky.
Hmm.
That's just me personally. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
We're not doing this. We're not having this sneaky discussion for the 20th week in a row. I'm not doing it this week. I'm giving
He's like,
nothing
I'm taking a
mercy
break.
on our viewers.
I'm taking a break. Oh my god. But nope, that's
I
it. That's
I
pretty
can't
much
get
it.
baited every week. Yeah, that's it.
If you guys have anything else to add, are you guys watching any animes, any movies, any TV shows?
Dude, I just ordered, and the first volume in my Berserk manga hardcovers set came in today.
Oh, hell
super
yeah.
fucking super pumped. Super pumped. I just got 11 more volumes to go. Let's go. Because each one is 3 volumes in each of these hardback covers. I think Berserk has 37 volumes, I think.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I wasn't
Yeah,
told
yeah.
it was a weeb show. I'm sorry, I might have to back
Well,
out.
We're not. Well, it's
No,
not
no,
a
no,
week
no,
show,
no.
but we all are
We
weeks.
just we just usually just end off on a topic of what are you just doing
uh,
for the rest of the week. It's pretty much it.
That is a
Yeah.
joke.
So
I will say though, if you haven't read Berserk, read Berserk, but don't. If you
I don't
get
know how to read.
if you get tricked, I will say as a PSA as a warning.
It does
Regal,
escalate
'cause-
hella fast, yeah.
if you get easily actual trigger, not as a meme, but you have issues with things like extreme violence, sexual assault, or just any bad thing you can imagine happening to somebody, and it actually is extremely emotionally jarring for you, I would say, okay, that's a time where you maybe should pass on Berserk, because it is suffering incarnate for the people in that manga.
Zen, are you watching anything?
So I am slowly catching up on One Piece, so we'll be there. We'll be there.
We'll get there. It's good. I like One Piece, man. I think it's a good show.
I think I'm about halfway, so maybe next week or the week after.
The next month.
Too long.
The next month. The next year.
I just can't do it. Like every time I bring up, because I would read it instead of watch it, because I'm not watching 1,000 episodes of anime. I'm sorry, reading it too, I'm not doing it. Yeah, but dude, everything I crack it, open, I'm like, I could read like 12 to 13, shorter 60 chapter, manga that are extremely, highly spoken of. I could read all of those instead of just One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
Gerard?
Yeah.
Anything you've been watching to really close this out? Any anime, TV show, movies you want to catch up on?
I haven't really been watching anything. I've been reading a lot.
What have you been reading, actually?
So I've been reading a bunch of sci-fi novels mostly, and like some historical accounts. And trying to keep up on the medical literature as best I can. So I'm a medical student, by the way. I don't think that ever came up.
You're a medical student.
Nice.
Oh my god, nice, dude.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice. Glad to hear we have people, go in the medical field. We need more doctors in the world.
Yeah.
You can diagnose me with bad leak syndrome eventually.
Yeah.
Right. I will say, as a book, do you like fiction, like just straight fiction or historical fiction? So it's a bit of a high schooly book, a young adult novel, but it's a novel called Lamb, right? Just Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically so you know how Jesus in the Bible, you see him as like a child, and then all of a sudden he's an adult.
Sure.
This is about like the 20 years in between that point, and it's just great. Like there's tons of really funny. Great.
Is that what you're talking about here?
Yes, that's it. It's great. Like Jesus learns kung fu in it, and it's pretty awesome. A more serious book that I really liked, I also read in high school, so full disclosure there. Flowers for Algernon. It's basically about a guy, right, who has extreme mental. He has extreme mental deficiencies, right? Like he's very far on the spectrum, right? To almost being, he's basically
let me help
he's
you
not
out here.
self-sufficient.
I know what you wanted to say. Just so you know, the medical term is intellectual disability.
Okay, thank you.
That's the correct term. Just so you know.
Okay. I thank you.
I know what you
picking
wanted
up
to say.
that I was trying to tiptoe around offending anybody as hard as I could.
Yes,
So intellectual
coded.
disability. Okay,
I
cool.
believe so. Yes, I do.
All right.
So
right.
in this book, he basically has there's a fictional like procedure to basically quote unquote fix his brain, to give him intelligence, and it gives him incredible intelligence.
Dude.
And there's a descent at one point, and it's incredible. It's written as a journal, and you get to see like this man's thoughts firsthand as he ascends intellectually and then descends again, and it's incredibly fascinating.
You know how freaking Reginald said, I'm doing a video on this one too, but it's Reginald calling CLG a dead brand. Rogue tweeted on Twitter, TSM and Rogue isn't a rivalry. TSM is a dead brand, just stating facts, not trash talk.
Agree. Oh, I did forget, with regards to like stuff we're watching, I've been watching a massive amount of Stargate with my wife, so
really?
out.
Okay,
Stargate.
nice.
Love Stargate.
You like it? Dude, people
I love Stargate. Stargate's fantastic.
God recommended it to me, but I never had a chance to really get to it. What's it really about? Like a general synopsis.
So like, there's a thing called the Stargate, right? Which is, you can use it to go to other planets that also have Stargates, and so yeah,
I like the idea of that.
It's like Star Trek without the ships, kind of.
Right, cool. That brings up. I just recently finished my. I finished season 3 of the Next Generation watch, because I watched a bunch of episodes of that when I was younger, like just on TV. Yeah. So I watched a bunch of episodes like here and there. Like it must have been like 50 episodes, but they were just here and there. I was a kid and I loved the show, and I was like, you know what? It's actually time to actually watch this thing, because this is probably the best sci-fi I've ever seen. Granted, I don't watch a lot of sci-fi at all, but I am loving it so far. Like, probably my favorite episode thus far is probably The Measure of a Man.
Great episode.
Where Picard has to argue for Data's humanity in a trial setting, and it's just incredible. Highly recommend watching that show. As someone who's sort of a pleb for sci-fi other than Star Trek TNG, what would you recommend that something similar that I would like?
So, well, the obvious answer is all the other Star Treks, because they're all also great. Like I could go on about Star Trek for a pretty long time. I love Star Trek.
Even the original series, because I sort of have issues in the original series.
It's dated, but you know
they sort of have.
What is this?
I was more referring. I think he may have cut out, but
yeah.
I was mostly referring to like Deep Space Nine and Voyager, like the contemporary with the Next Generation.
Ooh, I mean, I never got Star Trek was more of the. Was it always playing second fiddle to Star Wars? Always, you know.
They're not even in the same category.
Yeah, they just have Star and people are just
hard.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just because they have Star in the name. Star Wars is a movie franchise with mostly mediocre movies.
Whoa, yeah, you know, you're right. It's like the first.
I mean, there's like there's 11 movies, I guess, right? With Rogue One and Solo, right?
Oh boy.
So out of those 11 movies, like what?
The first
4 or 5 of them are good?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 are the only good ones to me. The original trilogy that we chronologically see, and then it's like everything else is kind of bad.
Oh
yeah. So
I'm sorry.
Clone Wars is fine.
But yeah, guys.
I'm sorry. I kind of cut out there for a second.
No,
you guys?
I gotta head out of here.
Just if you like TNG, watch Voyager. That's all I have to say.
Voyager, I've heard a lot of good stuff, especially about their captain and that.
Yes, it's amazing. Watch it.
All right, guys. So that's been this week. We'll obviously resume this next week. I'm sorry about last week. Watching too much stuff on my computer. Wink, wink. Caused me to have audio issues. I'm just kidding, guys. But yeah, next week we are going to be resuming this as well. Thank you, Gerard, for being here. Obviously, man, it was a great addition having you, man. Thank you for being here. Honestly.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you for having me.
Great takes, by the way.
Yeah.
I try.
As long as
I do some analyst stuff. I used to have like a stat book, so
as long as you're the guy that has the better takes in Hotline League, then hey, you're the best guy. Cause some of those league takes that people bring on, oh my lord!
Oh boy!
I think Mark just pulls them because they're funny to him.
Oh yeah,
they're pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. That does have some funny takes people have. Like you could tell they don't even watch. I heard someone call it Smithy Broxa, and I was like, I know you're not watching League. Like
there was the guy that had the take that like NA was gonna go 0-18 at Worlds. Like that's just awful.
No. Like, they're gonna beat the 4 seed. They're gonna beat the 4 seed.
Yeah, like at the very least, like they beat Taiwan in the wild cards. Like they're not gonna go 0-18.
Yeah, so by definition,
that can happen.
Yeah, like by literal like the competition, NA is not the worst there. It's just we're always gonna be the 4th best, and I think that's pretty bad. But hey, I mean, it's better than losing to Flash Wolves consistently.
All right. Also, C9's gonna get to quarters at least, and if they have a favorable matchup, I absolutely believe they can get to semis.
Yeah. I think it depends a lot on the group draw. The group draw could be really rough for them.
Yeah,
it could be, but
and the seeding into the playoffs too.
Cloud9 tends to play up to their competition at Worlds. Like, obviously, a lot of times I think the teams they play are better than them, but they just have this knack to just getting the C9 Worlds buff and playing better than they should.
Out of groups last year too. Like they almost beat Griffin in one game, and they had some good early games against G2.
Their bot lane, their fucking bot lane was walking corpses.
Here's the thing: if the groups were actually balanced, and Griffin went to Phoenix's group, and then one of those teams went to Group A, where Cloud9 was.
Like J-Team or something, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, J-Team, yeah, Cloud9 gets out of groups, but the groups were super unfortunate last Worlds.
Yeah, they will be again, because groups are always unfortunate for NA.
And now,
yeah,
that is it. I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. The Nightwing, Way of Life Esports is signing out. See you guys next week. I'll have videos coming out this week. I have other content I gotta upload. I'll be streaming tonight. If you guys want to go there and watch that, we were talking about usually pop culture and anime and shit like that. So, yeah, a lot of DC news came out. You know, Justice League Rebirth film. There's the Wonder Woman 84 images and Ray Fisher situation with Joss Whedon. Oh, you know, that's what I cover there. But I'll see you guys later. Goodbye and have a great day. Whew.
Yep.
I love Pokemon. Simp Nation all day. I'm just kidding.
Hi there, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.